What are economies of scale? Economies of scale are scale advantages related to lower marginal costs of production. Okay, let me illustrate. There's two related concepts to this that you need to remember from your business courses. One is when we're talking about costs, we have fixed costs and we have variable costs. With fixed costs, these are the costs that don't change with each unit of production. Okay, variable costs are those that do change with each unit of production. Okay. So it looks something like this. If I have, here's my cost, and maybe let's just say I'm selling malasadas, right? So I'm going to need some fixed costs for my malasadas, right? I'm going to need a fat fryer, right? I'm going to need some sort of cooking utensils, right? And maybe if I'm in Hawaii, I'm going to need a red and white catering truck. And those are my fixed costs. That means regardless of how many malasadas I make today, or at least within a certain quantity, I have these costs that I have to pay for. My variable costs include my raw materials for my inputs, my flour, maybe my sugar, some sort of grease, or fat for frying, and maybe some other fillings. And I have my labor units of production, perhaps. I work longer. If I've got a per unit cost here. So what happens is I have my fixed costs, and then above these, for my units of production, I have variable costs. And it might look like this. Alright, so as quantity produced goes up, so does my variable cost, because if I make 100 malasadas, I'm going to need more flour than if I only make one. So these are my variable costs. Now, if I'm trying to figure out what my margin is, I have to take my variable costs times the units produced, right? And I also have to have plus my fixed costs divided by units produced. And this is a simplification, and the finance majors can correct the equation, but the general idea is my costs go up with each unit produced. Right? But if I'm trying to look at my individual margins on each product sold, I have to divide that cost, right? In general terms, what this means is if I only sell one malasada, then that malasada, the profit on that one malasada has to cover the entire fixed costs of my infrastructure. But if I sell 1,000,000 malasadas, then those fixed costs can get divided over those individual units, so that the profit I have to make on each unit needed on each unit decreases with my size. Those are my economies of scale.